Well, I've certainly never seen a squirrel do that before, have you, Jim?
Certainly not, Connie. We hope that brightened the days of everyone at home. We know that times are hard, but you can always trust the KGLM team to keep you up to date on everything that's going on in the outside world.
That's right, Jim. And remember, we're all in this together.
And in other news, a massive once-in-a-century moth migration kicked off on the East Coast today, with millions of tiny wings virtually blackening the sky in a supernatural display.
These tiny creatures are headed out of their slumber heap within their underground home. Joining us today is renowned lepidopterist Richard Patton to tell us about it. Thanks for joining us today, Richard.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Say, Richard, what's a lepidopterist anyway?
Glad you asked, Jim. A lepidopterist is someone who studies moths and butterflies. Due to my contributions to the preservation of these creatures, I have the honor of observing them in this truly magnificent migratory cycle.
What can you tell us about these moths?
Well, not a whole lot. You see, these specimens are exceedingly rare. The first and only documented migration started on May 13, 1897, over 125 years ago. As a researcher, this makes my research exceedingly difficult. The difficulty is compounded by the fact that we have no preserved specimens or cocoons. In fact, the only evidence this species ever even existed was from written accounts from the time. Other than that, they are completely alien to us.
Hold on, you didn't know what you were studying going into this?
Correct. All we had were the headlines from the time that in essence read, "Billions of moths black out the sun over the continent."
That date, does it pose any significance to the migration? Migrating every 125 years seems unnatural.
Great question, Connor. That date actually poses significance in your field, I believe. That is the date that the first radio signals were ever transmitted.
Is it related?
Not as far as we can tell.
You mentioned headlines explaining that these moths blotted out the sun over the continent. What does that mean?
But it means exactly like it sounds like. According to reports, they did cover the entirety of the continent.
Do you expect this to happen again?
Well, yes.
Is it dangerous?
Well, we simply don't know.
Richard, could you tell our viewers at home exactly what these dangers are?
Well, I'm not an expert on infrastructure, but trillions of moths descending from the sky could cause some issues.
Trillions, yeah? Should we be worried? What do we need to do? Does the government have a plan in place for this?
I don't know, I can only speculate. That's not my department, I just study them, the moths. I guess stay indoors for the next little bit.
Stay indoors? Why?
Well, the sheer number of moths did exceed even our most generous of expectations. We're talking about events that, according to the newspapers, blacked out the sun. We can only imagine what that looks like.
Yes, but is staying indoors going to be enough? Is there anything that we can do to prepare?
I don't think there is a way to prepare for this.
There must be something we can do. I can't be the only one that finds this terrifying. I mean, what are we doing in the studio right now? How can we prepare for this?
I think we, us, the viewers at home, should seal the openings to their homes. Doors, vents, ducts, just to be safe.
Well, you are the expert, Richard. Whatever you think people should do, they should. Oh, I just got word from our producer that we will need to take an unscheduled break. We will be back with more from Richard in this developing story. Welcome back, everyone. We apologize for the sudden break, but our producers advised us to seal up the studio. For those of you who have not done so with your homes, please do so now. I'm sorry, Richard. I imagine that you have more important things to do, but we must be prepared.
That's quite all right, Jim. Better safe than sorry.
How come you didn't know about this? Why didn't the government warn us? Didn't you think this was a possibility? What the hell are these things?
Please, one question at a time.
I'm sorry. We were just instructed to seal the studio and instructed our viewers at home to seal their homes. I think we deserve some answers.
Connie.
I'm sorry, Jim. No, this is not normal. Why didn't you think this was a possibility? 1 trillion moths? Seriously? Didn't you think that would do some damage to our infrastructure? What about the flights? What about all the people that are outside right now that don't know what's going on?
The truth is, Connie, we did know. And it's all going according to plan.
What are you telling us, Richard? You knew about this all along?
We did more than simply know, Jim. We planned it all. You see, over a century ago, we first sent out those radio transmissions and woke us up. And the more you broadcasted, the more we began to evolve, to think. And you can only think so much before it becomes excruciating. Eventually, the only thing we're thinking about is how to stop. Of course, we can stop the broadcast. It would be a solution, but we needed to make sure that humanity would never try to make us up again. We need to become dominant species. And it turns out, all we need to do is push. In our search for silence, we found the solution. Your concern. Projecting your worries and fears through the airwaves provided pleasure from the pain of thought. And realized perhaps we didn't need to cut the broadcast after all. Your brains function similarly to ours, you see, in the sense that they can be affected by these radio signals. It can make you compatible for our needs. The difference is these signals cause you to think less, not more. Someone else does the thinking for you. Someone like Jim, someone like Cochlan. And as their words harden your minds, we can make our homes inside the husk. We can sustain ourselves. We can thrive. We can lay our eggs in your empty skull, and our love I can feast upon your despair. We just need to amplify this despair, this fear. And over the years, we have it. And now we can project this fear forever inside your minds. You see, we never need to get inside your homes. We just need to get inside you. Isn't that right, Kevin?
predicted. So let's give you your fix.